Every single day, millions of company vehicles hit the road. Now, for the managers back at the office, it used to be a total black box, right? A lot of guesswork and just crossing your fingers. But today, technology is completely changing the game, turning fleet management into a precise science. So let's break down how that actually works. And this really is the fundamental question, isn't it? The second a driver pulls out of the lot, they just kind of disappear into a sea of traffic. Are they on the best route? Is the engine running okay? Are they driving safely? That complete lack of visibility? Well, that's the exact problem we're going to unpack. Okay, so first up, let's get right into the daily struggles. These are the persistent headaches that, just about every fleet manager has to deal with. I mean, without real-time tracking, you are literally flying blind. You have no clue if a driver is stuck in a massive traffic jam, took a wrong turn, or is maybe just around the corner from an urgent job. And that uncertainty makes it nearly impossible to give your customers an accurate ETA or to run things efficiently. Then there's the money side of things, the constant drain on the bottom line. You've got wasted fuel from bad routes or just sitting there idling, sudden breakdowns that cause super costly downtime, and just the slow grind of wear and tear from aggressive driving. It all adds up, and it just eats away at your profits. And this one's huge, maybe the most important of all, the risk. Unsafe driving doesn't just put people in danger. It exposes your entire company to massive liability. After an accident, it's so often just your word against theirs. And without solid proof, trying to fight a false claim is an expensive, uphill battle, for sure.
So, you've got all these disconnected problems. How do you solve them? Well, the answer is bringing everything together. The modern solution isn't a bunch of separate tools. It's a single, unified command center for your entire operation.
You see, the whole game has shifted. It's about going from being reactive to being proactive. You stop running around putting out fires, and you actually start preventing them in the first place. So instead of relying on frantic phone calls and messy paperwork, you have this one dashboard of live automated data that lets you get ahead of problems before they even begin. So what's actually in this unified platform? Well, you get live GPS tracking, so you always know where your vehicles are. You get real-time vehicle diagnostics to monitor engine health. You get AI-powered dash cams to keep an eye on driver behavior. And you get digital workflows to make everyone's job easier. It's the whole shebang, all in one spot. Now, this might sound pretty complex, I got it, but the technology behind it all is actually way more straightforward than you'd think. Let's break down how all this data gets from a vehicle on the road right to your screen. Everything really starts with GPS tracking. At its core, it's just the technology that uses satellites to answer the most basic questions. Where is my vehicle? How fast is it going? And what route did it take? This is the foundation, the where that everything else is built on. Now, you'll hear the word telematics a lot. Just think of it as the nervous system for the whole fleet. It's the technology that doesn't just capture the GPS location, but it also pulls all this rich data from the vehicle's engine and sensors, and then sends all of it out for analysis. And the flow of all that data is beautifully simple. First, there's hardware in the vehicle that captures everything: GPS, diagnostics, video. Second, that data gets sent securely to the cloud over a cellular network. And third, you access it as clear, actionable insights on your dashboard. Simple as that. And here's where the magic of AI comes in. The system isn't just a passive camera. No way. It's an active observer. And it's been trained to spot specific risky behaviors, things a manager could never see, like tailgating too closely, signs of a driver getting drowsy, or even just glancing at their phone. It does this by analyzing visual patterns, like the distance to the car ahead, or where the driver's looking. And this right here, this is the absolute game changer. The system doesn't just flag these events for a manager to look at later. It gives instant, in-cab audio alerts to the driver right in the moment. If they tailgate or brake too hard, they get immediate feedback. And what does that do? It encourages them to self-correct on the spot. That is proactive safety in action. Okay, so the tech is really impressive, no doubt. But what does it actually mean for a business's bottom line? Let's look at the real, tangible results and the return on investment that companies are actually seeing. 40%. When you just see a number like that hanging there, you have to ask, 40% of what? What on earth could improve by that much? Well, that's a 40% drop in unsafe driving incidents. And as this quote from Carl Bennett shows, this isn't some theoretical benefit. It is a real, measurable improvement in safety that directly slashes a company's risk and liability. It's huge.
So when you look at the return on investment, it really comes from three key areas. First, you get liability protection with undeniable video evidence to fight false claims. Second, you get insurance benefits, often in the form of lower premiums. And third, you get massive gains in efficiency from smarter routes and ways and way less wasted fuel.
And don't think for a second this is some niche technology for just one type of business. Any industry with vehicles on the road can benefit. We're talking everything from rugged construction sites and fast-paced delivery services to agriculture fleets and even school buses. The core needs for safety, efficiency, and visibility, they're universal. All right, so where is all of this heading? Let's kind of wrap things up by zooming out and looking at the bigger picture and where fleet management is going next.
This really points to the true evolution of this entire space. You see, the ultimate goal isn't just to react better after an accident has already happened. It's to prevent it from ever happening in the first place. By analyzing these huge amounts of data, these systems are starting to identify patterns and predict risks, letting managers step in before an incident occurs.
And ultimately, we really have to think bigger. Every single vehicle is becoming a rolling data stream. Honestly, we're just scratching the surface of how all that data can create safer roads, smarter cities, and way more efficient businesses. Which leaves us with the really big question: where does this road lead next?